You feel it, don't you? A certain transparency, as if you could walk through a room and no one would notice you were ever there. You've become an expert at fitting in, at being agreeable, at making yourself smaller so others can feel bigger. You are the reliable one, the easygoing one, the one who never causes a problem. You learned a simple rule long ago. To be liked, you must be accommodating. To be accepted, you must be invisible. But what if that rule was a fraud? A social contract you've been honoring your entire life without ever reading the fine print? How many times have you nodded when you wanted to scream? How many times have you said, "I'm fine," when you were breaking inside? How many times have you put someone else's comfort ahead of your own self-respect? You swallowed your truth in the name of peace, only to find that you were the sole casualty of that war. Listen to me. The world does not run on the currency of kindness. It runs on the currency of respect, of leverage, of consequence. If you're here, it's because a part of you already knows this. You've been the dependable employee, the supportive partner, the rock for your friends, and you've watched others, less qualified, less loyal, less kind, soar past you. And it's because you've made yourself easy to overlook. You've become convenient. And in this world, what is convenient is always disposable. This is where the wisdom of Machiavelli becomes essential. He wasn't a monster. He was a realist who dared to draw a map of the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. He understood a fundamental truth that our modern world tries to hide, that morality without strategy is a death sentence. In this video, we're going to rip off the bandage. We're going to talk about why your obsession with being the good person is the very thing holding you prisoner. This isn't about becoming a villain. This is about finally becoming the protagonist of your own life. Because as long as you are trying to be liked by everyone, you will be respected by no one. If you are tired of being a ghost, then it's time to learn how to have gravity. Ready? Let's begin. Do you honestly think the world champions the gentle? Take a hard look. Who gets the promotion, the attention, the final say? Is it the one who quietly does all the work, hoping their virtue will be noticed? Or is it the one who is assertive, who isn't afraid of friction, who makes their value impossible to ignore? The truth is a bitter pill to swallow. Society doesn't reward your good intentions. It rewards your perceived power. Machiavelli saw this with perfect clarity. He didn't write The Prince as a guide to tyranny. He wrote it as an operating manual for reality. And one of his most vital lessons is this: your goodness is only as valuable as the respect it commands. You can spend a lifetime being generous, patient, and loyal. But the moment you cease to be useful to someone, you will vanish from their world, and they won't even feel bad about it. Because in a world driven by self-interest, a person without boundaries is not a person. They are a resource. Think about it. The people you call difficult, the ones who say no, who state their terms, who demand what they are worth, they are taken seriously. Their time is valued. Their opinions are sought. Why? Because unchecked agreeableness signals weakness. A person who never pushes back, who never presents a challenge, is not perceived as kind. They are perceived as harmless. And harmless people are not respected. They are used. You can bleed yourself dry trying to make everyone happy, but if you don't project strength, you will be treated like a doormat. Machiavelli famously advised that it is safer for a ruler to be feared than to be loved. He wasn't advocating for cruelty. He was saying that true respect, the kind that lasts, comes from the understanding that you have agency, that you have a spine, that you cannot be pushed around without consequences. This applies to your life right now. If you live to be pleasant, you will live to be replaced. It's time to dig deeper and understand where this self-destructive need for approval came from. Because your kindness is a mask, and underneath it is a fear that has been running your life. In our next section, we'll expose it. If this is striking a chord, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Your support helps this message reach those who need it. Let's be brutally honest. You weren't born a people pleaser. This was trained into you. It was a survival strategy you developed as a child. Every "don't be difficult," every "just be nice," every time you were praised for being quiet and obedient, it was a lesson. The lesson was, your authentic self is a problem. Your anger, your needs, your disagreements, they are unacceptable. Approval is conditional. So, like any intelligent being trapped in this system, you learned to perform. You became a master chameleon, molding yourself into whatever shape was required to earn a pat on the head and avoid the cold sting of rejection. The issue is that childhood survival tactic has become your adult prison. Now saying no fills you with a tidal wave of guilt. You feel personally responsible for the emotional state of everyone around you, even if it means betraying yourself. You smile when you're insulted. You apologize when you're not wrong. You are endlessly trying to maintain an image of the good person, not because it's who you are, but because you're terrified of what might happen if you stop. Let's call this what it is. This is not nobility. This is fear. Fear of conflict. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of being seen as selfish. The fear of being truly, authentically you. And this fear has turned your kindness into a weapon you use against yourself. You call it being empathetic, but it's really a fear of confrontation. You call it being flexible, but it's a fear of being disliked. You call it generosity, but it's a desperate plea to be seen as worthy. Your niceness is a carefully constructed shield to protect you from the perceived pain of disapproval. But the cost of this shield is your soul. It silences your voice. It drains your power. It erodes your dignity. And if you don't tear it down, it will eventually become your tomb. You'll look in the mirror and see a stranger, a collection of compromises and apologies. But there is a way out. And the map was drawn by the one man who understood that image and power are everything: Machiavelli. Next, we will learn exactly how to use his principles to stop being a hostage to your own goodness and start being respected for your strength. If you are trying to navigate life by a strict moral compass, assuming others will do the same, you are walking into an ambush. Machiavelli taught this over 5 centuries ago. In the real world, it is not the virtuous who triumph, it is the effective. And effectiveness requires you to understand the game. People are not motivated by your purity. They are motivated by their own interests, their fears, and their ambitions. In The Prince, Machiavelli writes something that should send a chill down your spine. A man who wishes to act in all circumstances like a good man is doomed to ruin among so many who are not good. You have been that man. You have tried to be honorable in every dealing, only to be outmaneuvered by those who play by a different set of rules. You have been fair, only to receive injustice. This isn't about abandoning your principles. It's about stop letting them be the cage that holds you. It is about understanding that in a world of wolves, a sheep that preaches peace will only be eaten. Machiavelli urges the leader to be both a fox to recognize the snares and a lion to frighten the wolves. This is your new mantra. The fox is your awareness. It is the part of you that sees the hidden motives and understands the social games being played. The lion is your spine. It is the part of you that projects strength and makes it clear that you are not to be trifled with. Machiavelli doesn't say be one or the other. He says be both. Be perceptive enough to know when you are being manipulated, and be formidable enough that people think twice before trying. Do you want respect? Then you must redefine virtue. It isn't passive goodness. It is virtue, a potent combination of courage, strategic thinking, and self-mastery. It's knowing when to be warm and when to be cold. It's understanding that sometimes a firm boundary that appears unkind is the most effective way to preserve your own well-being and order. People don't respect your intentions, they respect your impact. You can have a heart of gold, But if you project the image of a doormat, you will be walked on. Machiavelli wasn't a cynic. He was a supreme realist. He saw human nature without the romantic filter. And he wrote a survival guide for a world where weakness, disguised as virtue, is a fatal flaw. But you might be thinking, how do I do this? How do I stop being naive without becoming a monster? In the next section, we'll shatter the myth that you have to choose between being a victim and being a villain. There is a third path. There is a poisonous idea that has ruined countless lives. The belief that to be a good person, you must be a soft person. That kindness requires you to be endlessly permissive, to absorb every slight, to swallow every frustration, to keep a false peace. This is not kindness. This is self-annihilation disguised as virtue. This is emotional cowardice. And if you can't see the difference, you will forever be an extra in the movie of your own life. True kindness has teeth. It is intentional. It is discerning. Being a good person doesn't mean you are a public utility, always available, always smiling, always sacrificing for people who would not do the same for you. That isn't generosity. It is poor emotional accounting. Naivety is believing everyone has the same heart as you. Naivety is expecting your unspoken decency to be rewarded with gratitude and respect. Naivety is a recipe for a life of bitterness and disappointment because it projects a fantasy onto a world that is ruthlessly pragmatic. True, powerful kindness is different. It is solid. It knows its own value. It has firm boundaries. It understands that your energy is a finite resource, and giving it to those who only take is not virtuous. It's wasteful. You can be a moral, compassionate, and honorable person and still be someone who is not to be messed with. You can be respected, feared even, not for being cruel, but for being unshakably true to yourself. Machiavelli, for all his dark reputation, didn't despise virtue. He despised weakness. He knew that in a world of ambition and self-interest, kindness without strength is just an invitation to be devoured. So ask yourself right now, is your kindness a shield or a target? Is it empowering you or is it making you prey? Because if your definition of good means you have to live with a permanent lump in your throat, accepting disrespect and blaming yourself for feeling anger, then you are not being good. You are being tamed. There is a balance point, a place where you can be both kind and powerful. In our next section, we will walk that path. It is how you finally take back the keys to your own life. When people finally wake up from the nice guy slumber, they often make a critical error. They swing the pendulum to the other extreme. They believe that to stop being used, they must become cold, calculating, and cynical. This is just another cage. You are not gaining power by becoming a heartless imitation of those who hurt you. You are simply reacting to your trauma. That isn't freedom. That's just a different kind of prison. True power, true liberation, is found in integration. It's when you stop choosing between being good or bad and decide to be whole. It's about finally acting from a place of authenticity, not obligation. It's knowing that you can be kind, but you will never again be a pushover. You can be forgiving, but you will never again be a fool. You can offer a hand, but you will no longer let others drag you down. So how do you do this? How do you stop being nice without losing yourself? First, reclaim your no. Your no is not an act of aggression. It is an act of self-definition. You have been taught that no is a dirty word. It is not. A calm, firm no without apology or justification is one of the most powerful statements you can make. It tells the world, I have limits, and people with limits are respected. People without them are consumed. Second, master the art of healthy friction. You have been conditioned to see any form of disagreement as a catastrophe. That is a lie. Disagreement is not disrespect. Conflict is not abuse. Sometimes, friction is the only way to polish a relationship and establish mutual respect. Voicing your dissent isn't selfish. It's a declaration that you are an equal in the conversation. Third, become an emotional accountant. Take stock of who gives and who only takes. When you start setting boundaries, pay close attention to who gets angry. Those are the people who are benefiting from you having none. Their discomfort is not your problem. It is a sign that you are finally on the right path. Fourth, stop auditioning for everyone's approval. Not everyone will like the new, stronger you. And that is more than okay. You are not a product designed for mass consumption. Your loyalty is not to the weak image they had of you. Your loyalty is to your own peace of mind and your own truth. Fifth, build your respect from the inside out. When you act from a place of authenticity, you may lose the approval of the crowd, but you will gain the respect of the worthy, and most importantly, you will finally gain your own respect. That is the only kind that truly matters. Machiavelli didn't want you to be cruel. He wanted you to stop being a sucker. And the biggest sucker's game is believing that being nice is enough. It takes guts to fire the people-pleaser inside you. It takes courage to be who you are without permission. But this journey isn't over. Now comes the final choice. The decision between a lifetime of quiet servitude or a life of sovereign freedom. In our final section, we bring it all home with the one question you must answer. It is time for a moment of absolute, brutal honesty. With yourself, how much longer are you going to play this part? How much more of your life, your energy, your spirit are you willing to sacrifice on the altar of being liked? You think it's virtuous. You think it's noble. It's a cage, a psychological prison you've decorated with the praise of people who benefit from you being small. They applaud you for being manageable, for being quiet, for not being a threat. But here is the truth no one will tell you. No one is coming to rescue you. There is no reward at the end of this. No one is going to show up with a medal for all your silent sacrifices and say, "Thank you, you can finally be yourself now." That will never happen. Because as long as you broadcast to the world that you are willing to be used, there will be an endless line of people ready to use you. This is not evil. It is human nature. And human nature doesn't care about your good intentions. You can continue down this path. You can remain the perfect model of the good person, always patient, always understanding, always available, always saying yes. But be prepared for a future overflowing with resentment, regret, and the soul-crushing weight of being invisible. Or you can wake up. Right now. You can decide that your kindness will no longer be a leash. That from this day forward, you will act with purpose and with power. That you will decide who is worthy of your generosity. That you will no longer accept crumbs when you deserve a seat at the table. That you will stop begging for an approval that was never worth having in the first place. The truth is simple. The world respects those who respect themselves. And your freedom begins the exact moment you stop asking for permission to be you. So I ask you, what is the first boundary you are going to set, starting today? What is the one thing you will stop doing to please someone else? Tell me in the comments below. I want to read it. This is more than a video. It's a movement of people waking up. Your answer could be the permission someone else needs to see. And if this message hit you where you live, then you must watch the next video. Believe me, it's the next step you need to take. The real work is just beginning.